Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of More Money. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I'm here with Rebekah Zink. I am so excited to talk to her today. This is her first interview in the Year of Growth series. Welcome, Rebekah.
Hi, Cassie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm super excited too. I'm just really nervous.
I get it. And I love that you're doing it anyway. Like, this is such great practice for just manifesting in general, right? Because
absolutely,
I always talk about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And this is one of those ways. You've signed
entirely. Up to I don't know if you can tell. I'm just blushing so much.
I love it. So let's start with something easy. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I am a 24-year-old publicity professional. I run my own company. I'm currently work full-time, but that's actually on its way out because everything is working out so great. I also act, so I've been in several short films. I'm working on getting into the agenting thing. It's just, I do a little bit of everything, but I love it all.
I love it. It's so great. And so you have been in the Enchanted Circle for 70 days. I just want to say that at the top of this. So 70 days. What's awesome right now? Like in this moment, what's awesome?
Right now, it feels like everything is happening. And I know, and it's just such an amazing feeling because everything feels so clear and exciting. And there's just opportunity knocking at my door everywhere I turn. And I have this big conference coming up next week and another big conference following that. And I'm leaving my job. And it's just, everything is amazing right now.
Yay!
I know. I'd be like, I wish I could find something smaller to say, but it's so good. I can't.
You can't. I know. And
I can't.
You've been working with me for 70 days. Small stuff is cool, but we share big, right?
Yeah.
So awesome. So I love this question. I always like to hear this from my clients because it's always so interesting. How did we connect? How did you find me?
So it's actually, kind of a roundabout way. I was in like a really low spot, really, really low spot, pretty much for all of last year. And so I had taken away some of my vices for a few months starting in November. And I thought it would help and I was on a good spot, but it wasn't lasting. And then in February, I just went back to the same really just low, depressed. I had a mental breakdown and it was just kind of like everything came to a head and I was rock bottom. And my mom was like, you know what? I've been really wanting to watch The Secret. Let's watch The Secret together. I was like, great. Okay. Sounds good. I'm crying.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'm not doing anything else. So we did. And from there, she went crazy with the research and was super looking into everything and sending me all these other podcasts, the whole thing. And then she said, I found this one podcast with these two young women who talk about, the law of attraction, the whole thing. And she passed me on to the Manifest It Now with You and Ginny. And it clicked. That was it. I was like, this is it. I found that thing that I felt like I've been missing that's helped to make everything make sense. And ever since I've just been so whole. And it's amazing.
Oh, yay. I love this because I don't get to always hear this part, right? Because we come in and we hit the ground running. And
we really do. Oh, no back. Okay.
We're right. Because we're yeah. So, I love that. And I'm so excited for you. That makes everything even better.
Yeah. It's been really big. Every day I've been a part of this, every Monday call, every time it's just such a big thing for me. And I just so appreciate it. And I never want to lose it. This is it.
This is it, right? This is home. Yeah. I love that. That's so cool. So let's talk about, so you are in the middle of Manifest 10K, like all this amazing 70 days, all this amazing stuff is happening. I want to talk specifically, like, let's talk about your Manifest 10K list because I love this.
Okay. Oh yes, the list.
The list.
List. What do you want to talk about with this?
So give people listening, what do you remember was on your list? You might remember it all. And we went back and forth a little bit about your list, right? I think I said like something like, is this really the list? Like, is this going to happen anyway? And you're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's go a little bit bigger.
The majority of my list with things that were going to happen but I was just in such a different place mentally where it's like, I just need to take care of this. And if someone handed me $10,000, this is what I would spend it on because I need to.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I want to.
Yes.
And there were some things on that list where I was like, well, no matter what, this is getting taken care of. So I don't need to put that money towards it because that money's going to come from somewhere else.
That's right. And how did that feel? Like, do you remember what kind of, or how that felt or what space that opened up?
It just felt so like freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause it was, I don't have to worry about this and I can actually do something for me, and I've always been, in college, I worked 3 or 4 jobs while going to school full time. And, even now I'm working 2 jobs. I work a lot. And so I love it. But a lot of times it's always, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And being able to look at this $10,000 list and be like, okay, but what would you want to do for you? It was like, yes, I would like a $200 shopping spree at Sephora. I can only get 3 things, but, I still get to go. So it was really freeing.
I love that. All right. So tell us about, how much of the list has come true?
I actually kind of need to pull out my list. That is a great question. I want to say most of it because even in small parts like my $200 Sephora shopping spree, I was able to spend, I had 50 allotted for that, but I had a gift card. And so when it was all said and done, I only spent 13.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes.
So I got new clothes. I've had pocket fund money from my original list, and I know that this is like kind of a funny thing, but from my original list, I had all this stuff for a short film that I was filming, acting in. I wrote it, I helped direct it, the whole thing. And on my original 10,000 list, I had all these things listed out, and you said, okay, but if it's already going to happen, it's going to happen anyway, so remove it. And I did. And it's crazy because everything on that list just came true. I needed lights that I was going to pay for, and a friend texted me saying, hey, I have a light kit if you want to borrow it. I needed a camera, and my sister has a friend at NYU, and he was like, oh, you can use my camera. I have a tripod also. I was like, okay, great. Lights, camera, action. Yeah. So all of these big ticket items, it's, they just happened just like they are supposed to.
Right?
It was like I set the intention this was going to happen, and it did.
Yes. And I want to make it clear because I know, right, that somebody just like basically called out of the blue and was like, oh, here's lights. And these aren't like, this is for shooting a movie. So the lights aren't like, this is not like, $10 twinkle lights. Right. We're talking, how much is it going to, there's studio lighting. And how much is it going to be? Like $1,000 a day or a couple $1,000?
The lighting, it was, if I wanted to go like cheapish, it was going to be a couple $100.
Yeah.
And yeah. For the camera, that I can't even get on the camera thing because I was just going to use my iPhone, and, people have done it. But, if you want a camera with good quality, that's also a few $100s.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't have to worry about it.
Right? That's awesome. Yeah. And it's not that you said, okay, I need to make this list, and you started calling people, right?
No, they called me. They're like, oh, yeah, I heard you were going to do this. Do you want to use this? Oh, sure. Why not?
Yeah, right? And that's the way it works when we get clear and you put the list out and you're like, yeah, right? Mm-hmm. And then didn't someone like pay for the food too?
I did get the food a little cheaper than I thought. Like things,
Yeah.
even something small like bagels, they were on sale 3 for $2, and I'm like, great,
Oh,
okay, this is awesome. Like, thank you. I wasn't planning on getting bagels, but since you're on sale, sure.
yeah.
And yeah, I was able to split the food with my like co-person, and
Mm-hmm.
and it was just I got like paid sooner than I thought I was going to get paid for, so it was just everything worked out.
Oh, I love it. It's so cool. That's the magic of the list. So
That's
anybody
what it is.
listening.
It's so magical.
It is, right?
So magical.
Yeah. I love it. So, I think you talked a little bit about this, but well, I'm gonna ask it again. But what was the like final decision to join the Enchanted Circle? Was it just like you could feel this is where you belonged, or was it
Yeah.
something else? Yeah.
It was a crazy thing. Like, I'm very intuitive. I love listening to my gut. I pick up on other people's energy, very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and once I started listening to the podcast, I was like, oh, I need this. And so I was listening to, multiple podcasts every day, just like, this is great. This is great. This is great. And I just felt like, you know what, for where I'm at in my life, I need more. I need more. I want more. I deserve more. And so I was like, you know what? When I get my tax refund, I'm going to put some of this money into this. And even before I got the tax refund, I just happened to have the money. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Now is the time. And it was crazy too, because I did it and I got a response saying like, there's a waiting list and the whole thing. I was like, okay, it just wasn't meant to be right now. And the next day I got an email saying, oh, the waiting list is open. We have a spot if you want it. And I'm like, yeah, sign me up. Like, it really was meant to be.
Yes.
So, yeah, and that's how that happened.
I can remember where I was when I sent that email.
Really?
Yeah, I was at Jenny and I were at my parents' house because we're just enjoying the scenery and they were gone, and I was on their couch. Like, I remember writing that email.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I remember getting it. I was like at work and I was like, oh my God.
It's happening.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's like what I love too about that. Like, that's such good practice for like acting, right? Like,
Yeah.
like practice, like, ooh, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like living in that feeling of just, yes, this is mine.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so much fun to have you in the Enchanted Circle.
Thank you. I love being there.
Yes.
My week. I love that it's on a Monday too, because it's just like, yes.
Yeah, right. It starts your week. So tell us, like, because everybody's always curious, like, especially I think when you're newer, right? Like, people are like, well, what is it like to be in a group, right? And so will you tell us about like your experience in groups and like, are you introvert, extrovert, and like your experience working in a group coaching in the Enchanted Circle?
Okay, I am super introverted. I have to like, I work as a receptionist at a pretty big company, so we have a lot of people coming in and out, and like high profile people. So I'm on all the time. And so, every morning before work, I have to kind of like psych myself out, like, okay, you're going to be social. Like,
Right.
Friday night rolls around and I'm asleep by 10 o'clock. I'm done. So I do tend to be more shy and socially anxious. And, as I mentioned before, I think a little bit more of a lone wolf. So the whole group thing, I've done group things in the past and they're just not for me typically.
Mm-hmm.
But that first call, I was so nervous, and I might have said like 2 words. Like, I was just like, what is this about? What is going on? But everyone is just so friendly to everyone else, and like it's just so obvious that they want to lift everyone else up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain type of camaraderie that comes with the group that I wasn't expecting to find. And I think it's so important, and it totally just heightens the experience of being a part of it.
Yeah.
And you can be like, oh, I wonder what so-and-so did, or I hope so-and-so figured this out. And I think in this situation, it's so important to have that support group, especially when, if you're like me and you tend to just kind of keep to yourself and do your own thing, go your own way. I think it's really important to find those people. and it's been so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you shared that. And that's like my favorite thing. And I remember, I think it was last Monday's call, like somebody was sharing something. I don't remember, but like I could see your face light up. And it's like, it was like, I mean, it was
light up at everything.
right? I could see.
I'm like, this is amazing.
Right? I know. Everybody was like, yeah. And like, you just like happened to be the one in like my eyeline. But it was like, that's what I love is like, yeah, like it is awesome to celebrate everybody else.
And it's not even just the celebrations. It's like, when people are telling their story that they need help on or something like that, like we feel that pain, like we're in there with them and we're supporting them through, the laughter and the tears. And it's so incredible to me that this can exist, within this kind of platform, and that, we really are all there for each other.
Yeah.
I just really was not expecting it. I underestimated it.
Oh, I love hearing that. So
Yeah.
yeah. Which is like, it's super fun to me because what you're saying, like that's things I've scripted, right? Is that people are like, this is better than I thought. Like the group is amazing. Like we all support like all these words.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Like, totally, right? It's like, yeah, like that's so fun because I totally scripted that.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, you have. Yes, that's exactly what. Oh, fabulous.
Oh, so good. So what do you think is the biggest change so far in your life?
My confidence, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that I've always kind of struggled with, is just feeling like worthy of doing things, or I deserve this because of X, Y, and Z. And I remember I think it was a different podcast that you did, and someone said, I'm worthy because I am. And being a part of this group and being a part of the Enchanted Circle, that's very much just like, that's how my mindset's turned into. And it's just very much, yes, like this is me and I can charge this amount. Like I raised my prices, and
Yay!
I know I raised my prices a couple months ago because of my work experience. I've been in the business roughly 8 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think I'm undercharging. And while I love to help people out, I think I'm worth more. And that first phone call when I had to say my new prices, I had to kind of like talk myself up to it.
Okay, this is what you're going to do, right?
A lot of money. Okay, great. But I had to give myself that talk of like, yeah, but you're worth it.
Yes.
And there's something, even, like the decision to leave my job. I don't know if I could have had that confidence if I didn't have this, new mindset or the support group, or just the overall confidence that I've gained from feeling worthy of these things coming to me.
Oh, yay. That's so awesome. This is like,
I feel so good.
I know. It's like Christmas morning for me because I don't know all the answers, right? And this is like, I don't have answers, but for the listeners too, like we don't practice this. I'm not like,
no,
it's like, so it's so fun.
I don't know. Sometimes on the calls, I'm like, how is she doing this? It's just like someone has a problem and you just like pull out an answer and I'm like, she's good. She got this. All right.
I love it. Yes. So total confidence. I want to do this because I like to do this from everybody. You said like your old money story was constant anxiety of never having enough. I'm not even going to make you say it because you're so far from it. I'm like, nope, I'll say it.
I know. I'll be very honest, even on my Manifest 10K list, I'm looking back at it and I'm like, this has almost completely changed.
Right?
Yeah. I'm a completely different person. And even my mom said, you're a completely different person in the past 2 months. And I'm just like, I know, I feel it.
Oh, yay. That's amazing. So what do you think as maybe a chapter? Like, I know you're starting to write your new money story. What do you think are some like chapters in it? We talked and it doesn't have a title yet, but.
No, and one of them, I guess for now, because I really do want to think on it before I like settle on it. But for now, I'm just really flowing with the whole, I am abundant.
I love it.
Everything. It's like, I'm getting all the auditions. I'm getting all the clients. I'm getting all the time. It's like just everything. I am abundant.
Oh, yes. I love that. I'm abundant.
Yeah. It's like super simple, but that's just what it is.
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
And simple is the way to go.
Yeah. I am
Oh,
abundant.
I love the way you say that. Like, I am abundant. Like, it is you. Like, you own it, right? It's become
Yeah.
yours. Yeah.
Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like this is just fact.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's so great.
It's great.
Oh man, what would you say is the biggest lesson so far that you've learned, or aha? Or do you think it's been just sort of this small shift thing?
So I do always get a little confused at the whole aha thing because I do feel like I have so many ahas, but they fall into different categories.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And so I'm always like, wait, does this count? Does that count? And so eventually I'm just like, you know what? It all counts. I'm abundant.
Exactly. Of course it counts.
I don't have to count it. I'm just abundant. But right now, I think because there has been such a huge shift in just me as a person and my mentality, I'm more just, it's like all this stuff is happening and I'm kind of waiting to see where it settles because it's so in flux and it's just kind of like, this is happening and that's happening and this is coming my way and I know this is on its way to me. And it's hard to, quantify that into one big lesson or one big aha because there's just so much,
Yeah. I love that. I love that answer.
I've just learned, I don't know, maybe one of the biggest ones would be to just listen to myself, like quiet down, calm yourself down and really listen to yourself and like what you want because I feel like a lot of people and myself included, it's like you want something but you don't necessarily know how to get it, so you write it off, or it can't be possible, so you write it off, or at the end of the day you're just writing it off. But if I didn't have the confidence that I got from this whole thing to become the person that I am now, I would be writing off a lot of things that I'm in the middle of. And I just don't want to say no to opportunity like that anymore.
Yay.
Oh
my gosh, I love it.
It's so good. I am abundant.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so amazing. So I love this, and I'm going to transition into like what we pared down, right? So we had one conversation and you were like, I'm exhausted, like this is going on. And so we started talking about your manifesting list. So tell me about your manifesting list.
It was definitely when I was probably about a month into the program and I had been into the swing of like, listening to this podcast in the morning and this podcast on my commute home from work. And, let me watch this documentary and let me look at, my list of like, feelings that the feelings that what's the word
the activate your abundance feelings.
Yes. And, I just had like this list of stuff and I had been doing this list for a bit, like a good month or so. And I was just getting exhausted and I was already working however many hours a week and like trying to figure out how I was moving forward with everything. And I guess I just didn't realize that what had worked for me in the past just wasn't working right then. It just wasn't working. And I was forcing it, thinking like, but it worked before. Why wouldn't it work now? And I came to you just like, I am just exhausted. I don't know what to do. Like I'm doing X, Y, and Z and it's just not working. And you're just like, well, just stop. Just don't do it. And I was like, oh, I could do that. That's the thing I could do. And I did. And the next day I just felt amazing. I just felt so good. And I think part of it is that just that pressure I was putting on myself of you should do this. You need to do that. Or, well, this worked before. Why isn't it working now? And, that not just with this, but it translates to everything. Just because it worked then doesn't mean it's going to work now. And I think that's so important to listen to that. And so thank you because you made me listen to myself.
You are welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah, that was the time.
Yeah, that was so good because it's so true. And I remember, like, I can't remember what happened the next week, but I feel like all these things just started, like, you stopped doing all of it and all these things flowed into your life.
Yeah. It's like I was shutting my own door.
Yes.
It was like, oh, someone's knocking. Let me just close the door.
Right.
And yeah, I wasn't doing myself any favors, that's for sure. Because the minute I stopped doing that and just like left my door open, yeah, all this stuff just started coming in. And, you know, like a new client came in and, you know, this other thing came in. And that's probably when the lights came in, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I think, yeah, probably. Yeah. It was just like everything. Cause I remember the next week, I'm like, cool. How did that go? You're like, awesome. And then all this stuff happened. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
It was
totally
great.
believe it.
I'm always going to leave my door open.
Right? So good. And I love how you're making that, like, as a listener, like, that is like, right? Like, keeping the door open isn't about doing things. Like,
Right.
often it's about not doing things.
Right. Yeah. You need to
Yeah.
allow that space to be there
Mhm.
to have those new things come in. And I
Yes.
think I'm still kind of learning it sometimes when I have to like pull myself back. But I think, yeah, that I was in the process of really learning that lesson.
Yeah. I love it. So what are you looking forward to over the next year being in the Enchanted Circle? Anything in particular or just all the goodness?
Really just all the goodness. I'm like, if it's in 70 days and this has been happening, I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see how the next year is going to be. Just, yeah, I mean, I already feel so abundant and whole and confident, and yeah, everything is happening. It's all on its way to me, or it's already here. And, you know, I have so many big irons in the fire right now, and I just know they're getting bigger
Yes.
because I just know it. It's just going to happen.
Right.
Like,
That's because you're abundant.
right. I'm
happens.
abundant. So yeah, I'm just excited for all of it because I feel it like in my body, just how big it's going to be. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you. Like, it's my favorite part to see how the stories unfold. And like, I know it's going to be amazing. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be awesome.
Same. Yeah, exactly. I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's going to be awesome.
Exactly. I love it. Well, tell people where they can connect. Like, what's your specialty and where's your website? How can they connect with you if they want to work with you? Because you do awesome stuff.
I do.
Authors,
Awesome
pay
stuff.
attention.
Yeah, please. So I run a publicity company specialized for authors, and it does focus on branding and brand strategy and brand consulting, because I like the big picture. Like, how can we really solidify what message you're sending? I also do, you know, graphic design, social media management, the whole thing. You can find me on the interwebs on all of the social media. My name is Rebekah Zink, but it's spelled Rebekah. My last name is almost like the mineral, but it's Zink. So my website is it's RebekahZinkMedia.com. And there's a list of the services I offer and different clients. All of my social media handles are at my name. Yeah, I guess that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Like, thank you so much for sharing your journey. I know so many people are going to be inspired to what's possible and how quickly things can change. Like,
they can change literally within a day. Like,
yes.
Even before I was working with you, the minute I found the law of attraction, I hadn't had an audition in 6 months. The day I found the law of attraction, I got 4.
Awesome.
I
Oh
know.
my gosh. I love that.
I know. And I'm just like, this is it. I'm never doing anything else. So it really can just change immediately. But when you have that support group, and it not only changes immediately, but it changes tenfold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too.
Yay. I'm so excited. So everyone listening, make sure you tune in next week for Rebekah's next interview. I'm so excited to see how everything unfolds. You can connect with her at Rebekah, Rebekah Zink, Zink media.com if you want to know more about how she supports authors. Thank you for being here. And if something Rebekah said inspired you to join the Enchanted Circle, you can go to cassieparks.com and click on the Enchanted Circle and submit your application and join the fun. Thank you, Rebekah.
Thank you,
And-
Cassie. It's been
Yes.
wonderful.
It's been awesome. We'll talk to you soon, and everybody have a fabulous week.
Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn how to identify your current money story, go to identifyyourmoneystory.com.